One of the greatest and most shocking moments in Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity comes very near to the end of the game with the unlocking of Calamity Ganon as a playable character. While I can't really explain why Calamity Ganon has chosen to join in with the group as a whole, in gameplay terms, he brings a massively powerful and flashy playstyle that has a lot to dig into in order to fully understand him. Let's jump in with the titular Calamity himself and see what he can do. Calamity Ganon's regular attack string consists of 6 attacks. Using his fingers and claws, he will slash to the left, to the right, punch the ground and create 3 fonts of Malice energy, do a quick double slash to the front, repeat these 2 slashes again, and then finish by jumping a ways forward and punching the ground, causing 5 more fonts of Malice to erupt from it. Since we're only at the regular attack string and we already have his unique mechanic of Malice energy popping up here, we may as well cover his unique action right away. When using his regular attack string, or many of his other attacks, Calamity Ganon will leave behind these pieces of Malice energy, which sit on the battlefield before eventually being automatically absorbed by him if still within range. Alternatively, you can also press the unique action button to have Calamity Ganon absorb them himself. But do remember, if you go too far away, these blobs will disappear and you'll lose your chance for either form of absorption. In whatever case, after you absorb the Malice energy, it will then be added to your Malice gauge. And if you press the unique action button when it's full, Calamity Ganon will enter his Calamity form, which in a nutshell is a brief window of time in which his attacks are enhanced, allowing every single one of them to force out enemy weak point gauges. On top of this, he will also have a changed moveset. In the case of his regular attacks, Ganon will now punch and send a blast to the front, double slash upwards, throw Malice energy down in front of him, stomp his feet hard on the ground, and then charge up a blast and fire it out of his mouth. Since all of these attacks force out enemy weak point gauges and then break them down, it's important to note here that if you use Ganon's weak point smash, his Calamity form will be shut off at whatever Malice energy charge level you're at when you started the animation. And although this form does allow you to dish out some major punishment in a large area and quickly, it might be better to use as an automatic weak point smash attack generator, meaning that you turn it on and then try to get to a weak point smash as quickly as possible in order to shorten the amount of time between the next use of his Calamity form. I will be covering his alternate Calamity form strong attacks later on in this video, but for now let's finish off this section by talking about all of his other most basic moves. For Calamity Ganon's regular dash attack, he will do 2 quick slashes with his right hand before stopping and transitioning into his regular attack string if you choose to. Jumping over to his strong dash attack, he will do a cute little 3-spin combo before getting right back to his dash. Of course, you will want to use this while moving to pick up KOs or just special attack charge. One quick note, he does not have special dash attacks while in Calamity form. It will just go to his regular or strong attacks. Next up, for his regular aerial string, he will fire out a cross-shaped blast of energy diagonally downwards before then falling. His strong aerial attack has him turn his arm into a cannon and then allow you to freely aim and fire off a maximum of 5 shots. Due to the way that these aerial attacks hit from on high, both of them do have the ability to bring out enemy weak points due to them hitting enemies' heads or other sensitive areas like the rocks on a Talus's back. Last up for this section, let's cover the big guy's Sheikah Slate runes. Starting with his Stasis rune, Ganon will create a massive circle of time-locked enemies, with him then having full freedom to do whatever attacks he wishes after this. There is no additional animation attack. This is pretty much just the perfect version of a Stasis rune, and although its range is unusually gigantic, many aspects of him are going to be overpowered because he's kind of just a bonus character. Even if he outclasses most of the other cast, you get him so late that it's really not that much of a big deal. Moving on to his Cryonis rune, Ganon will create 5 massive thorny pillars of ice, affecting a huge range and coming out right where you'd want them to be for blocking incoming Cryonis attacks. Next up, for his Magnesis rune, Ganon will throw out 3 spikes that cause a massive lightning blast between them. Unlike other Magnesis runes, this one does not require enemy weapons to be present in order for it to function. And on top of this, it does extra damage to enemies in the water due to the heightened effect of lightning damage there. And then on top of this, it is also able to force out enemy weak points. Although this means that you can't then use stasis afterwards due to the rune cooldown, this does give you time to do a little bit of chipping effect, making this a great thing to use when your enemy's weak point gauge is already close to breaking. Last up, for his remote bomb rune, Ganon will throw and punch 5 bombs all at once, creating a large crescent shape of explosions to his front. This rune is quick, has a great area, and just like all his other runes, is basically exactly what you want out of a Sheikah rune. Well, with all of his most basic moves out of the way, let's jump over to his strong attacks now. For his first strong attack, Calamity Ganon sends out Flobs of Malice, which do not harm your enemies. However, it does set up some free Malice energy for you to then absorb. If you shoot out multiple volleys of this, sometimes the blobs coalesce into one piece, giving you a bit more energy once you absorb them. For his second strong attack, Ganon roars and then creates an outcrop of Malice energy. If your enemies are hit by this, they are also juggled until it explodes. Next up, for Ganon's third strong attack, he will roar and then launch into a series of punches, building up a blob of Malice that he finishes by punching away, sending it a good ways forward. This attack can do a lot of damage, however, the long build up to the end of it gives your foes a lot of opportunities to knock you out of it. Personally, I'd only try to use it if you know you're going to be safe throughout its entire channeling time. For his fourth strong attack, Ganon will sprout out a Malice Flail and go berserk for a moment, smashing all around him before finishing with one final slam. Like with the previous attack, this one also has a long animation. However, the range and damage of this one makes it a much safer move to use. Next, for his fifth and final strong attack, Ganon will do 2 quick large attacks before sprouting wings and using them to do a jumping slash, which will also send 2 cuts even further in the air in front of you. This attack will both do a lot of damage, as well as break down weak point gauges very efficiently, making it the perfect attack to go for after time locking an enemy with stasis. Normally, by this point in the strong attack section for a character, I would have already gone over 1 or 2 attacks that just on their own will also force out enemy weak point gauges. However, when it comes to Calamity Ganon's strong attacks, he simply does not have any of this. But of course, when he's in Calamity form, every single one of his attacks, regular or strong, will reveal them. While you can just do regular to then strong attack, Calamity Ganon is unique in that he can also go through his strong attacks in a string of strong attacks, simply by pressing the strong attack button continuously to attack. While of course you can use each of these after his Calamity form regular attack string, to show them off really quickly, here they are. The first one is a flail attack smash, the second one is a roar and then a slam, the third is a blast from his hand cannon, the fourth is a quick winged jump slash, and his fifth will have him enter his ghastly cloud form and then fly a distance ahead in a spiral. Well, with all of his many attacks out of the way, all we have left to do is cover his weapons and suggested weapon seal builds next. Calamity Ganon has 3 possible weapons, and going from weakest to strongest, they are the Cursed Bone Shard, Malevolent Spine, and Heart of Annihilation. I'll put a chart up on screen right now to show off their hidden level 25 and 30 seals, but for my weapon build recommendation today, I'm going to be focusing on his Heart of Annihilation. Due to this weapon already having a star-shaped and hexagonal seal, in order to get the best possible weapon bonus, we need to grab 3 more of one of these shapes and 1 more of the other. However, I don't really know if that's a good idea here. If going for damage, which is usually the thing you want to go for, attack speed seals usually do a good job of both making you faster and more reactive, which allows you to get in more damage more frequently. And that's pretty much why it's the best seal in the game. If we give up on getting the traditional 4 of one shape and 2 of another, and instead just go with 4 attack speed seals and his open slots, we will still end up getting a plus 15 damage bonus, and to me that is a lot better than forcing ourselves to just get more star-shaped and hexagonal seals. I guess if I needed to recommend a way to get that max plus 20 damage version, I would probably go with 3 more strong attack damage seals and 1 more hex seal of whatever you prefer. Personally, I almost always go with damage per 100 KOs, but still, if you can, go full attack speed. And just like that, we have Calamity Ganon fully covered. Let's put everything together and see where he ends up. When looking at Calamity Ganon in the context of the entire cast, his entire playstyle is just so overstuffed with greatness that he could have very nearly overshadowed a lot of the other characters. Although this is sort of the case when it comes to things like his Sheikah Slate runes, he does have a couple of well-placed limiters that keep battles with him still interesting. Unlike a lot of others in this cast, Calamity Ganon's playstyle does need a bit of gas in the tank before it can really get going in earnest and start steamrolling over your foes. But the awkward moments between each Calamity form rampage do really help to balance him out. And to me, that made him both a fun power trip and also an interesting treat to dig into at the very end of the game. So, what are your thoughts on Calamity Ganon? Be sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and also if there was anything big that I missed with him, you can drop that down there as well. I'll make a pinned comment on this video if I need to for anything big that I may have forgotten about. Until next time everybody, thank you so much for watching. Big thank you to my top patrons DW7 Still Rules, Henry Gutierrez, and Ryan Poe, as well as to all of my other patrons on Patreon. If you would like to support this channel and my main channel Shanebrained, check out the links in the description. Thank you all very much.